Hi everyone, Janice Amiro here. I believe I am live now. If anyone is there that can let me know, that would be great. Yeah, I think it's good. So, hey everybody, like I said, my name is Janice Amiro. I am the CEO of Janice Inspiring Change Holistic Nutrition. And back in December, I thought, how can I help people who are struggling to feel well and manage their stress and get through these challenging times a little bit better. So what I decided to do was start interviewing health and wellness practitioners in the alternative wellness field so that they could share what they do, and perhaps that would be valuable to my listeners and my viewers. So, Inspiring Change 2021 was born. And I decided that I would do that for the month of January. However, there was so much feedback that it was really, really great. People were enjoying it. So I decided to keep it going for the whole year. So every Thursday, I come on live on Facebook and talk about something different, some alternative health um, modality that might inspire you to take better care of your health and your family's health. So I'm alone today. Today I decided to go solo to talk about sugar. So I just really can't see. I see somebody. Yes. Hi, Angela. How are you? Good. So there are some people who can see me. So that's great. So like I said, I decided to jump on today and talk about sugar. It's a topic I'm very passionate about. I actually have a new program that I have developed, and it's all about how to quit sugar. So it's Sugar Freedom Now. So I thought I would talk about sugar, and it's sugar is the most widely circulated and most popular used drug on the planet. And a lot of people say, oh, it's not a drug, but actually sugar is has been compared to um, cocaine and other very addictive substances because it is addictive. So I'm on a mission to help women eradicate I'm on a mission to eradicate sugar addiction and to help women um, manage their sugar a whole new way, tackle sugar addiction in a way they have never done before so that they can finally reach the goals that they have set for themselves. So basically, what has to happen in order for that to happen is that we have to break down the barriers that keep us addicted. And it's not just maybe going on a crash sugar free challenge for X amount of days. That often doesn't work because the whole time we're doing that, we think after those 30 days or those 21 days or whatever it is, or after I fit into that dress, or after I lose so much weight, um, what happens then? Oftentimes, what does happen, and you've probably been there, I know I have, is that we end up going right back to what we were doing before. So, so we end up in this really bad cycle of quitting sugar and then having it again. And something comes along that kind of breaks our motivation, and there we are, right back to square one. So it's really quite damaging, and a lot of people don't realize the damage that sugar can have on the body. But and a lot of people don't really know what it's doing to them. But I just always want to talk a little bit about what's happening and what sugar actually does. I think that oh, there's Leanne, awesome, and Bosco. Hi, Bosco. Good to see you all the way from Qatar. And Leanne's just down the street in Nova Scotia, and Angela's down in Yarmouth. So I was talking about how what sugar does to the body, really, and of course, it can contribute to weight gain. It contributes to so many health problems like diabetes, heart disease, stroke, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, all of those things that we consider common. Yeah, they're common, but they're really not normal. The body isn't meant to be in those situations. Sugar can also rob the body of B vitamins and especially B6. But what happens is when the body doesn't have enough B vitamins, it affects the hormones. And that's why women struggle so much with PMS, with bad pregnancies, with really bad menopause. That's what happens because if there's a deficiency in B vitamins, then our body just isn't supported properly. The same with vitamin E. It can cause a decrease in vitamin E in the body, and it can also affect our calcium and magnesium levels. And a lot of women are taking calcium and magnesium, but is it being absorbed? Is the natural calcium and magnesium that we have in our bodies being pushed out or destroyed by the sugar that we're eating? So those are some things that happen when we eat too much sugar. The other thing, and we, those of you who have younger children or grandchildren, um, they children suffer because of too much sugar. And we often make a joke, someone's at a party and they've had way too much cake and ice cream, and they say, oh, he's going to run around for a while because look, he's had all that much sugar. Yeah, and that's true, but it's not just what happens until that crash and burn and he gets over it, or she. What happens is over time that plays a really significant role in the way they learn at school, the way they behave on the playground, the way they interact socially. So sugar has a lot of really, really bad points, I guess. And, in my talks, I've said to people, um, I ask the question, do you need sugar? And people think they need sugar. And I'm talking about added sugar. I'm not talking about glucose, the fuel of the body. And we can get that without eating ice cream and chocolate and my favorite cheesecake. So we don't need added sugar. We really don't need it. Our body takes in the food that we feed it, and it converts it into a substance that can be used. So there's the difference. Hi Donna. Um, Bosco says we miss you in Doha. I miss you too. I miss you too. And I know it's getting really hot there. Yeah. So we as women, and I guess it's not just women, but we often say maybe we don't really know that we're facing sugar addiction or that we are addicted to sugar. And some of the signs are that you can't go without it. You need your treats. You feel exhausted all the time. You can't lose weight, or you lose and then you gain. That's a big sign. Cravings for sweets or carbs, cravings for bread, is also a sign that you're addicted to sugar. So those are things that maybe you don't realize is happening to you. The reason that is happening to you, maybe those things are happening to you, but you don't know why they're happening to you. And um, and so those are the telltale signs, let's say, that can really open your eyes to what is going on. And then, what do you do about it? How do you manage it? So for myself, because I was addicted to sugar, and boy was I addicted to sugar, let me tell you. um, I love to bake, and those of you who know me know that I love to bake. I used to bake all the time, and I'll bake up a storm for anyone any day. But I used to eat it all. And lick the bowl, eat the raw cake batter. I ate it all, and I loved sugar. And one day it caught up with me. So I had to make a decision. I was facing a debilitating illness. I couldn't get out of my own way. I could barely do the stairs, had to quit my job, couldn't go walking with my dogs, was on the couch all day, and that's just not me. And I was young. And so when I realized what my problem was, I had to look at my diet. And the number one thing that had to go, unfortunately, was sugar. So when I did that, when I started to change what I was eating, I then realized that I could feel really, really good. And the other thing, and some of you might have this, hi Monique, how are you? Um, Monique's checking in from Doha. Great to see you. So when I was facing that illness and I started changing what I was eating, I soon realized the foods that I was had been eating were causing my problem. And I was going to say, that's when a lot of people will say, but I can't live without my bread. uh, what? Never have another piece of cake again? I just couldn't do that, you know? So that's how I felt too when I first started on this journey. I was looking at, I posted something the other day about most people think about what they have to give up rather than what they have to gain. And that's what I was looking at. I'm going to have to give up this. I'm going to have to, no more of this. No more going out and enjoying that brownie down the road, which had started to be a monthly thing, and then it was a weekly thing, and then it was every other day. No more of those things. How will I enjoy my life? But once I changed, I realized that what I was letting go of was nothing compared to what I was I was experiencing, and the amazing feelings that I had that I never ever had before. I never imagined I could feel as good as I did by changing my diet. It was miraculous, really. But it isn't, because the body is made to be feel well. It's made to be given good food, and in return, it rewards you with an amazing feeling, amazing body, energy. Jumping up in the morning and having enough energy to just face the world and do anything. So so for me, it was a huge, huge learning curve. But what I realized as I was doing that was I was really, in essence, designing a step by step approach to help other people get rid of sugar. And so that's what I do today. Today, sugar no longer controls me. I control sugar. And that is a very powerful statement that I am very, very pleased to be able to say. And so going back to, I can never have my cheesecake, I can never have my chocolate, what about Christmas and Easter and all that? It's Eid in the Muslim community. What about all those celebratory foods, those traditions? It doesn't mean you can never have those again, but when you approach it the right way and understand how come it's controlling you and how to control it, then you can have a little bit of this, a little bit of that in moderation, and you will find that you will be very, very happy with that. Some people have varying degrees of what they allow themselves to have. So with the with the process of letting go of sugar, the reward is feeling amazing, not having sugar control you anymore, being able to maybe finally lose the weight that you've been trying to lose and keep it off forever. No more dieting. We women spend so much time dieting, years dieting, up and down, up and down. I was one of those people. So let's talk a little bit about how the approach of how to give up sugar. So first, the thing we have to do is identify why the sugar is controlling you. Basically, that's what it is. So why is it that the sugar has that much hold on you. And again, I want to make sure that I mention, um, not just sugar. Not a lot of people will say, and I'm sidetracking here to clarify. A lot of people will say, I don't eat sugar. I gave up white sugar long ago. So, of course, in my investigations working with my clients, I say, so what about honey? Do you eat that? Oh, yeah, I've switched to honey. Maple syrup, yeah, for sure. Agave, yeah, I do that. And all those other types of sugar. Well, my darling, I'm really going to break your heart here and tell you that sugar is sugar, is sugar, is sugar. Yeah, it's all the same. Now, there could be some health benefits to a few of those other sugars, but according to the body and to what it does to the brain, it still reacts the same way. So it's still as addictive whether it's honey or sugar. And so what happens if you switch over, you're still going for those sweet treats. You're still going for a little bit of honey in your tea, or some, maple syrup on your oatmeal, or whatever it might be, some added sugar to your smoothie, whatever that might be. So sugar is comes in all forms. And the other thing is too, if you're addicted to carbohydrates, that's the reason why, because they convert to sugar really quickly, especially refined carbohydrates. And carbohydrates have a bad rap, but I'm talking about the biscuits, the pie crust, the pasta, the all the breads, all the danishes and croissants, and all of those. Those are all refined carbohydrates. There's no fiber in them. There's no nutritional value except for maybe the artificial things that have been added back in. Even if you make it at home, if you're adding the sweets to it, then you're getting that hit of sugar. So so you have to first, let's go back to the plan or the method of trying to get to the point of finally breaking up with sugar for good. I was thinking this morning and writing my next email for my mailing list, and I was thinking, sugar is like an old boyfriend that you have to break up with, and you break up with them, but then they come back and they say, oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong, please take me back. So you do, and then a little while later you say this isn't working, and you break up with them again. And how many of us have done that over the years? um, so that's the thing with sugar. You maybe can give it up for a little while, and then it creeps back in, and all of a sudden it's out of control, and then you put the brakes on, and then you go through it again and again and again. And what happens is you start to feel really, really, really like a failure. You feel really depressed. You feel like you're a loser. You feel like you can't do anything right. You feel like you're a quitter. And I want you to be a quitter, but I want you to be a quitter of sugar, not self-sabotaging and feeling like you just can't do it because you don't have the willpower or the motivation, or you're not good enough, or whatever those thoughts come in. So the first thing is to identify why you're eating so much sugar. What is that hold that sugar has on you? And that's a question to maybe put at the top of your journal today and say, where is that addiction coming from? Why is it that I can't control what I'm eating? And have a look at those reasons. A lot of us have never done it. But what a lot of us will say is, oh, it's because I'm stressed. I just got fired. My husband left me. My dog got run over by a car. The cake I ordered didn't come in, whatever it might be. The, uh, the reasons for the stress, that's what a lot of people will use. I guess I want to say excuses. So that's as far as some people can go. I've had a hard day. I deserve this chocolate, right? Right. So, yes, perhaps the reason that you ate too much sugar today or in the past, or you plan on it tomorrow, because you just, you just can't take the stress, and the sugar is where you're going to for that. But why? Why is it that when stress comes along, you go to sugar? Where is that coming from? And that is the work that a person has to do to determine where does that come from. Maybe it's from when you were 5 and you were at your grandmother's and you had your little bike and you were driving along the street on the sidewalk, maybe it's a little safer, and you fell and you split your knee wide open, and you ran to the house and grandma cleaned up all the blood, put a band-aid on it, and gave you a cookie. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was that you felt loved and supported and safe after you hurt yourself by having something sweet. And so if that's a pattern that you went through, then that makes perfect sense. Now, trauma is the same. Doesn't matter what it is. Perhaps, maybe there was not such a great childhood. Why is it that you turn to sugar to try to make yourself feel better, make yourself feel safe, wherever that is for you? And everybody's different. Everyone has a different thing. For some people, it's not sugar, but for now, we'll keep it there. But there is a reason somewhere down the road. So every time you have stress now, you go for the sugar. You see what I'm saying? So it's really important to really dig deep, right deep inside, and see what it is that is triggering that. And once you figure that out, and sometimes we can't figure it out alone, sometimes we need some support and someone to ask the right questions and draw it out of you. Because the first answer is usually, I eat when I'm stressed. I'm an emotional eater. That's kind of that catchphrase that we're using now. But why? But why? That's what we need to know. Yes, you eat when you're stressed. That's what happens. But why is it that when stress comes along? And by the way, when you eat more sugar, you can manage stress even less, because those B vitamins, the vitamin E, all of those things, the magnesium, they all help you manage stress better. So if you're overstressed, one of the reasons could be because of sugar. Because if you take 10 people and you give them all the exact same problem, not all of them are going to react the same. Not everyone is going to handle it. One person might say, that's nothing. Another person would say, that's the end. I can't take it anymore. And then there's people in the middle. So everyone's different. But if you have lots of B vitamins in your body and all the nutrients your body needs, you are going to be better able to manage that stress, no matter what it is. The stress doesn't change. It's your approach. So when it comes to identifying what it is that the reason that you go to food and sugar for comfort and safety and security, then you can start to work on trying to figure out how to change those patterns in your body. So those limited beliefs that we have and those learned behaviors, they have to be explained, explored, identified, and then shifted. So we have to change the way we talk to ourselves. So right now, the way we talk to ourselves is I've had a bad day. I'm going to get a chocolate bar on my way home from work. Or I'm in a really bad mood and I'm going to make a cake. Whatever it might be. I'm going to stop at the dairy treat, whatever it might be. So why is it that we're having that issue? Why is it that is the trigger for us? And that takes some work, like I said, takes some time to figure out. But once we do that, then we learn how to say, okay, I've had a really bad day, but what is the pros and cons of what's just happened to me? What is it that I can do to change it? What can I change? What can't I change? What's in my control? What's out of my control? And face it without the crutch of that white poison that is starting to affect you negatively, starting to cause you to gain weight, have no energy, be depressed and stressed, all of those things, especially right now, we're facing. Amanda, hi Amanda, how are you? Amanda says fruit, and I'm glad you asked that, Amanda, because a lot of people ask that, and I will take a minute here to answer that. And I'm glad to see your questions because I'd love to have questions. I have a bit more time before my next appointment at 12. So what about fruit? I know a lot of you have that answer right now, right in your head. And to those of you that I've talked to, you probably already know what I'm going to say. So, fruit is sugar for sure. And so, when you're trying to quit sugar, and I see this all the time, when people are trying to quit sugar, they start eating four, five, six, seven fruit a day. I know some people might put five fruit in their smoothie. So it's like a smoker who gives up smoking and then starts eating candy. They just go to another bad habit. So fruit, in moderation, is fine, but it is sweet. The difference with fruit and, let's say, a piece of white bread is that fruit has nutrients in it. Fruit has fiber in it. Like a banana has lots of nutrients and it's very sweet, but when you eat it, it takes some time to digest. So it's not going to, it still stimulates your feel good chemicals, feel good part of the brain to release those feel good chemicals. But it does take a little bit more time to digest, so it doesn't have a damaging effect on the blood sugar level. Now, fruit juice is pure sugar. If you have a glass of freshly squeezed orange juice, you're looking at a really big hit of sugar, and that's why they would give orange juice to someone who has really really low blood sugar to raise it really quickly. So, if you're trying to quit sugar and you're eating a lot of fruit, you've probably just shifted over. So, I might say to my client who eats 10 fruit a day, do you think you could just eat three? And make a compromise. So it's really individual, it's up to the individual. But if you have a really strong addiction to sugar and you want to manage it really well, maybe for a short time giving up fruit would be the thing for you, because if it's really satisfying the biological reaction, then it's always going to keep you wanting more and more. So that's an approach that, like, going cold turkey with sugar, breaking up with sugar cold turkey is usually a best approach. And so that might mean not having any fruit for a little while. But every person is different. Every individual is different. So, and it really does depend on your health goals too. If you're feeling okay and you're having a bit too much sugar and you'd want to get rid of it, maybe keeping fruit would be fine. If you have a really serious condition, it might have to look a little bit differently for you for a little while to see how your body reacts to it. I hope that helps you, Amanda. So we were talking about understanding the reason, identifying the reason that sugar has power over you. And so then once you can identify that, the next step is to shift the way your mind thinks so that you can catch yourself. We can write about this, we can talk about it, we can say, yeah, this is my plan, all of this stuff. But what happens right then and there, right in the moment, when you are faced with some situation that you really don't know, a high stress situation, right in the moment there, maybe a colleague, you had an argument with a colleague, and then you walk away, you go to the water cooler, you put $1 into the chip machine, and you pull out some junk and eat it right like that. So shifting the mindset means that you will have some tools. You have to develop these. You have to develop the tools to have that space between the stressor and the reaction and the action. So the reaction in the middle is where you have to think about. So, what about how you're going to talk to yourself when that stressor happens? Okay, Janice, I really want chips right now, or I really want cheesecake right now, but what are you going to say to stop yourself? You know, I used to say, before, when I allowed myself the time between the stressor and the action, that reaction was, okay, Janice, how will that cheesecake, that ice cream, those chips help me? Will that release my stress? Will that take that stress away? Will that change the argument with that colleague? Will that change the argument with my husband or or will that change the fact that, I have a flat tire, I'm on the highway? Will that make a difference? It won't. And so, by being able to put on the brakes and stop and talk to yourself and figuring out what will work for you, you can hold those triggers. You can stop those things that trigger you to go right to that, whatever it is for you, the chips, the chocolate, the cheesecake, whatever it is for you. And that's the trick, is to be able to do that all the time. And so and a lot of people can do that for that 21 days or that 30 days. It's like, yep, I'm quitting sugar for this many days, no problem. And then all of a sudden one day they're, I don't know, going through the drive-through, or they're at a baby shower or at an office meeting, and there is something there that you love and you haven't had. What happens then? Do you have the control, because you've practiced those thoughts, but it's a quick, just split second, doesn't take long to put that to your mouth and eat it. So that's the part of it that we need to address and have planned and ready, that toolkit that you build, to help you manage those things. In time, you might be able to say, oh, that cheesecake looks really good, and somebody else is eating it. That's what I've been able to do because I chose to just quit sugar. I was so unhealthy. I had no choice. I wouldn't be sitting here today, doing what I'm doing, had I not done that back then. So it's a matter of identifying what it is that is, the connection to why you gravitate to the sugar, and then shifting the mindset to see what you can do, how you can change that vicious cycle so that you talk to yourself differently. It's that internal dialogue that gets us every time. And so we have to change that internal dialogue. Then we use the tools that work for us to build our toolkit so that we can face it. It's not just for sugar, then it'll be for anything. It'll be for, any type of habit that we want to let go of. So we need to build our toolkit and start to redirect our way of thinking, our focus, and then we'll be able to say no to sugar all the time. So that's how it happens. And so, in closing, I just want to say that, for those of you who think that I made this sound really, really simple, and that it's not really that simple, I totally agree with that. It's not that simple. It's very simple on paper. It all makes very good sense, but it's putting it into action and living through it, and getting, each time you make such an accomplishment like this, each time you say no, each time you are pleased with your choices, then those need to be celebrated. You need to reward yourself, and not with cheesecake. Reward yourself with non-food treats. And so, over time, that what looks really easy on paper will be very easy in real life because you will choose differently. You'll be more aware, you understand the damage sugar can do, you've seen it in your own body. Um, and when you start shifting, you start to see in your own body the shifts, the weight loss, more energy, your skin clears up, you feel fantastic, you can do a triathlon like I did. Um, and I know I wouldn't have been able to do that without changing what I was eating for sure. So that is it in a nutshell. Again, I know it's not an easy task, but and a lot of us need support. I mean, I had support when I went through this, and that's what I do today for other people. Is I offer support to help you finally quit sugar and start living really really well. So that's let me see if there's any more questions before I close. I don't see any. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. I'll be back next week with a guest, and perhaps I'll be doing a few more of my solo interviews, interviewing myself, having conversation with you by myself because it's really fun and I'm so passionate about helping people get past this sugar addiction. It's really causing so many health challenges with us, women and men. And like I said in the beginning, I have a new program. It's called Sugar Freedom Now, and that's what I do. I help women get rid of sugar for good, and so that they can finally live free of struggling with their weight, free of dieting, free of being tired and depressed and stressed. And it sounds great, doesn't it? Yeah, for sure. So that is me signing off, Janice Amiro, and I am the CEO of Janice Inspiring Change Holistic Nutrition. If you have any questions at all, hi Rajan, you're welcome. If you have any questions at all, you can contact me at www.janiceinspiringchangeholisticnutrition. I'll be happy to answer your questions. And if you're interested in having a consultation with me, an introductory call, I would love to have a chance to chat with you and see what we can do to help you break free from sugar. Bye for now.